I'm just so highly attuned and aware of how I feel in certain people's presence.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if there is a presence that just doesn't feel good for me, like I just don't put myself in that situation. Like I remove myself from
Yeah.
those sorts of situations.
Mm.
And I think that's a very underrated thing when it
Yeah.
comes to nervous system regulation that we need to take into consideration.
Can't be contained.
That's what I'm talking about.
Melissa, welcome to the Can't Be Contained podcast. What's up, sister?
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Beautiful. I could chat to you all day, every day.
I know it's just so flowy and just easy. Every single time I get to drop in with you, my solar plexus just lights on fire. I'm like, I love you so much. So you are someone who, when I feel into the vibration of bringing forth the feminine essence in business, you come to mind a lot of really being a gigantic permission slip for women to really step into their greatness and take that formless, take that inspiration, take that energy that we have in our bodies and actually bring it forth, like birthing it, midwifing it into the world. And so my question is, where did you get that from? Have you always been like that? And what are some practical tools that you have to communicate how to birth, how to bring forth, how to not let our lower selves get in the way, but really love ourselves into creation?
Okay, so have I always been like this? Yes. I was reflecting on this in another interview where I was asked a question like about entrepreneurship and what I wanted to be when I was younger. And I definitely, my dad was an entrepreneur. And so all of his friends were entrepreneurs. And so I knew, and I always knew that I would do things differently.
Yeah.
Like I always, at school and at high school, when all of my friends were applying to go to university, I just knew, I'm like, that's not my path. Even though I did apply to go to university, I applied for a Bachelor of Business, majoring in marketing, and I got accepted. And I did it just because that's what everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
I always knew that I was not going to go down the conventional path. Like I just had this deep knowing for me that that was not the way for me. And so I've always done things on my terms. I've
Mhm.
created things on my terms. And now I have my life and my business and it's on my terms. And I think a lot of people, maybe they don't have the confidence to do that. I've always had the confidence to just go, well, actually, I don't want to work for somebody else. And I don't
Sure.
want to work 8 hours a day. I don't want to be sitting at a desk all day
Yeah.
long. And so from such a young age, I've always known that I was going to do things differently, didn't know exactly
Mhm.
what that was, and knew that I was going to do it on my terms. I
Sure.
remember like having my jobs, like when I was in high school, and not liking being told what my hours were, or like having to be somewhere on someone
Mhm.
else's clock. And I just didn't enjoy that. I was like, I want to create my own life. And
Yeah.
so, yes, I've definitely known I'm always going to do that. And that's how I live my life now, hun.
Yeah.
Like, I am a working mama. And when I had my daughter, after I came back off maternity leave, I was like, what feels good for me? Like
Mm.
I love working. I love being a mom. I want to do both, but what feels good for me?
Yeah.
And that is like at this season in my life, it's working 4 hours a day. That's
Mhm.
it. I
Yeah.
don't want to work anymore because
Yeah.
I want to spend the rest of the time with my daughter. I want to be fully present with her. I want to spend the day at the beach, the afternoon or the morning at the beach with her. And so I've literally created a life and a business that is on my terms and what feels right and true for me. And we all have the ability to do that. Like we just have to get creative. We really, and
Mm.
we have to know that we are deeply worthy and feel that we are deeply worthy of it. Because
Mm.
why a lot of people don't have it is because deep down, they don't feel worthy of it.
Right.
Like that's at the
Yeah.
very core of like why they don't have it, is they don't actually believe or feel or think that they are worthy of having the life of their dreams and whatever that looks like for them. And so if that's you, then we've got to look at that. We've got to heal that. We've got to release that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get clear on what does it look like for you, because it looks different for everybody. Like it might look like only working 2 days a week, or might not be working at all. But we
Right.
have to get clear on what it is that we want and how we want to live our life. And then we go about putting it into action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something else that I'm really good at. I've always been
Yeah.
really good at. I don't just sit back and wait. Like I'm an action tape and
Yeah.
I'm an action taker. I just do it. I'm like, if I want something, I go after it and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a quality that I love about myself. And we can all
Yeah.
have that quality. We just have to do it one
For sure.
step at a time, not compare ourselves to anybody else, and just put one foot in front of the other every single day. That's how we create what we've created.
Absolutely. Can you break down the myth for our audience of the amount of hours that someone works equates to the amount of money that they make? Because as you share that, I'm like, it sounds like you have a lot of freedom and flow, and you're really optimizing for lifestyle, and you're optimizing to be with your children and be a really present mother. And the fear oftentimes is like, well, if I do that and I only work 4 hours a day, then it's going to have an impact in my revenue. And what I've seen to be true about you is like you crush it, and you have freedom, and you have flexibility. So can you break down some of those myths and help our audience just from a like shift the perspective of that? Because I think oftentimes we're really wired in the archaic stories around time equals money and the whole thing. So if you could just break that down for us, that would be great.
Babe, this is what I teach inside She Launch. So my company, She Launch, helps female coaches and consultants and service providers grow their business to 6 and 7 figures fast without the burnout.
Mm.
I created this because that question kept on coming up to me.
Yeah.
How have you created the business and life that you have created? How have you done it? And I'm like, okay, I need to teach women how to do this. So that's why we created She Launch. And it is done so well, and I'm so proud of it. Okay, so like I said before, we have to get clear on what it is that we want. We have to get clear on it. And I think this myth that you've got to sit behind your computer for 10 hours a day to get the results is absolutely crazy. Like you've got to, yes, it takes work. As you know, running a company, it takes time, energy, work, love, dedication, all of those things. And you need to be really good at leverage and delegating.
Yeah.
You need to be really good and setting up the systems and setting up the business to thrive. So like having the intention from the very start, like, okay, maybe I have to at the start work a bit more, but my end goal is I have a team running X, Y, and Z so that I can just come in and coach, or I can come in and do the creative direction. And then everyone else is doing everything else. And so that I can be with my children. And so like when there's newbies coming into the program that are just setting up their business, I'm like, think with that as the goal. Like, what do you want at the end of it? Because yes, at the start, you may have to work a couple more hours and you may have to be putting in more, but like, and I've been doing this since 2011, babe. Like you and I go way back.
We go way back, sister.
We go way back. And, you know, I've always known that I wanted financial and location freedom. That is, I've always known that. And so I knew way before I even had my daughter that I only wanted to work like a couple of hours a day. Like I knew that I would never want to work full time with my children, especially while they're little. Like I just know that I just knew that was how I would want to be as a mother. And so I literally just step by step, I would create my business. I would put in systems. Every time I'm thinking, I'm like, how can I turn this into a system, or how can I leverage this? How can I delegate this? And
Yes.
so that I stay in my zone of
Yeah.
genius, and so I am like, what I love in the company is I love coaching. So
Mhm.
like our coaching calls, like with, all the women inside She Launch, we've got about 150 women inside there.
Amazing.
Like me coaching, that is like, I am in my happy place when I am
Yeah.
coaching these women.
Yeah.
All the content's done and created. It's all done. The live events, the retreats, writing books, the podcasting,
Yeah.
all of those things are my zone of genius, the things that I love. So I try and stay there. The things that I don't enjoy doing, I don't enjoy editing podcast episodes. I actually don't even remember how to do it. Like I did it at the very start. I don't know. I don't even know how to do it anymore.
Remember when we used to do every single episode? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I know, babe. Like I record, I do what I love, I do all the prep, I write the interview questions, and then I hand it to a team and they edit, they do all the other things.
Yeah.
And so I think when you are wherever you are at in your business journey, whether you're at the beginning or whether you're in the middle or you've been doing it for a long time, what can you delegate? What can you
Mhm.
systematize? Where can you get some leverage so that you can hand over those things that you don't necessarily need to be doing? And
Yeah.
so you can stay in your zone of genius.
Mm.
And trust me when I say this, you're going to be such a happier mom and such a
Yeah.
happier person and
Yeah.
such a happier boss
Yeah.
or whatever, when you are doing what you are called to do on this earth,
Mhm.
and then you've got an amazing team who are taking care of the rest, then
Yeah.
you can show up as the best version of yourself in your business and in your life.
So you have 5 systems to baby proof your business. And whether you are thinking about having a baby, or this could just be like freedom, like optimizing for freedom, what are those systems and how do we begin to take founders out of that day-to-day being in every single department?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think you need systems for everything. Like
Mhm.
you literally need a social media system.
Yeah.
You need, some sort of, yeah, you need some sort of system. You need something that you know how you're creating content, how it's getting posted. You need a lead generation system.
Mhm.
How are you getting leads into your business if you have a business? You need a lead generation system. You need a marketing system. You need
Mhm.
to know how you are going to market. Like, what is the plan? Then you need an onboarding system. Like, how do you onboard new
Yeah.
clients or anyone who joins your world, even if it's like just joining your email newsletter
Yeah.
list? You need a system for that.
Mhm.
What is the funnel that they then go through? Where do you then take them? What journey do
Mm.
you then take them
Mm.
on?
Mm.
And like every area of your business can be systematized, like everything. And
Mhm.
like now that I'm currently pregnant again, which is so
So
exciting.
good.
Like I'm already thinking, like as soon as I was pregnant, I was like, okay, obviously I want to take another maternity leave. I took like a year off with my
Did
daughter,
you?
which was, yeah, a year.
My
It
gosh.
was
Off of
magical.
everything?
So, as soon as I got pregnant, my brain already went to, okay, how can what else can I do to set the business up to really
Yeah.
thrive whilst I am on maternity leave? I had my last maternity leave, I had a year off and I had about 4 months worth of podcast episodes backed up, ready to go. And then
So good.
after that, I just did the podcast, which was joyful and fun. Like I was
Mm.
just interviewing amazing people. Nick, my husband, stepped in a couple of times when I couldn't actually do it. And
That's amazing.
I know people
Did
are
he
so
just sing a
flexible.
song or something the whole
Yeah.
time?
Well, I'd already written all of the questions. I was like, babe, just interview Dr. John DeMartini for me. And he's like, cool, got it. And he's
Amazing.
amazing at this stuff. So he would just sit down and interview them. Um, and that only happened a couple of times, which was great. And people are so flexible. I'm like, I've got a newborn. Can we reschedule? And they're
Yeah.
so flexible.
Mhm.
So I got to still do the podcast, which I love, and I got to have the most
Mm.
beautiful, luxurious, delicious maternity leave. And I truly want that for all women.
Mm.
Like, I want
Mhm.
all women to not have to stress about money.
Yeah.
The stress and worry about money is something that so many people experience. And this is what I help them do in She Launch, is set up their business so that they don't have to stress, they don't have to worry about money. So we teach them inside She Launch how to create a high ticket, amazing, irresistible offer. And then that's how they can have the income and the impact that they want. So you've got to get systems in place. I'm already thinking, I've been thinking about it since the moment I found out that I was pregnant with this baby. What are we going to do with She Launch? What are we going to do with the podcast? What are we going to do with my email list? Because I send out amazing emails every week. So my team and I are like, okay, what is the plan? How are we going to do this?
So good.
You just got to future proof. And you know what as well, babe, like, as I told you before we started recording this, I'm currently sitting here with a broken ankle. Like last week, I fell down the stairs.
Wait, how did you do that? You didn't tell me how. You just slipped? Was it just one of those things?
Hell, like okay, so I was inside the house wearing socks, and then because it was cold, and then I went outside the house to walk a friend to her car, and I just put on like my sandals. That were, you don't wear these sandals with socks. And so I just stepped off 2 steps and slipped and like rolled my ankle and snapped that bone, and then fell on my other knee, and that knee was all
babe.
bloody.
Oh my
I don't know whether I know, it was so like I've never broken anything.
Really? That was your first time?
That was my first time.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
it's crazy. But you know what? Like, I was laying there the other day and I was thinking about my She Launch clients, and I was thinking about how grateful I am. Like, I'm laying there and I'm still making money, right? I'm laying there and money is still coming in because I've set up my business and my life to be that way. And so I was sharing with all of the She Launch girls on my coaching call, like, I want this for you. I want you guys to have money still coming in when you're with your children making pancakes, when you're taking care of an elderly sick parent, when you're on maternity leave, when, you know, if you accidentally hurt yourself like I did. That's the goal, babe. Like, that's freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What kind of somatic practices and nervous system regulation do you do in your business? I can imagine, you know, running a business, I know the impact, or just like the amount of energy that comes in and out on a daily basis. So what are some of the things that you found to be helpful from like a somatic nervous system point of view to stay healthy, regulated, aligned, to really show up in a big way for your clients?
Well, as you know, 100% I do breath work.
Yeah, she does.
I have your app and I love it. And I just do like 3 minutes. I don't even do long. Like, and then I always meditate. I am a Vedic meditator. So I do 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. Since having my daughter, I don't always get in that second one, but I always get in my first one, and I just love it.
You do that before she wakes up?
I do it before she wakes up. Yeah. So it's the first thing I do. So as soon as I wake up, I just sit up in my bed and I start straight away. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because if I get up and go and do something, and then like I'll risk missing the opportunity.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. I feel you. And you get up without an alarm, or do you set an alarm and then you go into it?
No, I just wake up naturally, but we go to bed quite early. Like, that's part of my nervous system regulating things. Like, Nick and I are full health geeks, as you know, and biohackers, and we love this stuff so much. And so, you know, for me, it's shifted though, since having my daughter. Like, I used to have like a 2-hour morning routine. I don't have a 2-hour morning routine anymore. I have an express morning routine.
That's so perfect.
Yeah. So definitely meditation. And then I will either do like a 3-minute of your app afterwards, or before, or I will just do like alternate nostril breathing or box breathing before or after my meditation. And that is like, you know, that's, if I do that, I'm like, great. Then throughout the day, like, I'll move my body. I'm obviously not moving my body right now because I've got a broken ankle. But I'll move my body. I will spend time in nature.
Mm.
That is a number one for me every day, getting
Mm.
outside, getting the sun on my skin. Obviously, before I did my ankle, like we go to the beach, we swim, I go for walks. So nature, and then organic, clean food and water, like filtered water. Like, again, that's part of my nervous system regulate
Yeah,
that
babe.
allows me
100%.
to show up as the
Yeah.
best version of
Yeah.
myself. And then doing work that I love, again, that's like so good for my nervous system.
Mm.
And also like not working all day. If I'm sitting at my desk like for long periods, like it's not good for my nervous
Yeah.
system. I need to
Yeah.
be in nature.
Yeah.
And then going to bed early, like we go
Okay,
to
so
bed
how
really
early we talking? How early we talking?
like I was laying down in my bed at 7:30 last night.
I love that.
But like, okay, so realistically, I probably wouldn't be asleep until 8:30.
Okay. But you're asleep at 8:30.
I'm like
Wow.
asleep. Yeah,
So what
yeah.
time do you eat dinner?
We
I'm
eat dinner.
fascinated.
We eat dinner at 5.
Okay. Okay.
And you
Amazing.
kind of have to with kids.
Right. Like every one of my friends that have kids, I'm like, do you guys want to do dinner? They're like, yeah, we'll meet you at the restaurant at 4. I'm like, but I kind of love it because then you eat at like whatever, 4:30 and then you're all digested. And I'm like, you just sleep so much better when there's space between food and sleep.
Oh yeah. Oh my
But
gosh,
so
there's so much science on that, babe. There's so much
Ah,
science on that. Eating early, you sleep so much better. Like even if you like, I have an Oura ring, I
yeah.
can track my sleep.
Yeah.
Like if I've ever eaten late, and then it's the data shows that I don't have
Really,
as good a sleep. Yeah.
really.
Mhm.
It's so wild. So Eric and I, so we got a sauna recently and we're just absolutely obsessed with it. So we've incorporated a sauna in our evening routine. So we'll go out there, like we'll heat up the sauna at 7:30. We'll get in the sauna at like 8, and then we'll do like half an hour in the sauna and then we'll kind of like get ready for bed. And we thought that was early, but you and Nick are one-upping us. This is amazing.
Yes. Oh, babe. We
Ah,
just love it. And like, because we love getting up early,
mhm.
like we're up in the 5s, before
Mm.
my ankle, I would be up in the 4s.
No
And
way.
I love it because
Mhm.
that is my time before my daughter wakes up. Like
Yeah.
I would do my meditation, I would work out, I would do all
Love
of the
that.
beautiful things to
Yeah.
fill me up. And like right now, because I'm not as mobile, I'm sleeping in a bit more, which is lovely.
Mhm.
And also being pregnant too, I'm also really listening to the universal message to
Yeah.
slow down and to rest more.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but, another thing that's really good for your nervous system, apart from everything that I've mentioned, that we do every day. And I just want to also say that all of those things that I mentioned, I don't even think about now. Like they're
It's
like
just
brushing my teeth.
yeah.
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 It's like brushing my teeth.
I love that.
And when I'm not pregnant and breastfeeding, yes, saunas, like we have a sauna and absolutely love it. Like,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. Um, the other thing is relationships, hun.
Yeah.
There are relationships that are very good for your nervous system, and there are relationships that are not supportive of your nervous system.
Yeah.
And, the older I get, and the more kids and things like that, like I'm just so highly attuned and aware of how I feel in certain people's presence.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if there is a presence that just doesn't feel good for me, like I just don't put myself in that situation. Like I remove myself from
Yeah.
those sorts of situations.
Mm.
And I think that's a very underrated thing when it
Yeah.
comes to nervous system regulation that we need to take into consideration.
I love that you're bringing that up. I had my bachelorette party on the weekend
I
and I
so
have
wish I was there.
oh my gosh. I know it's a shame you live like 39 hours away from me.
I know. I
Imagine
know.
if we lived down the street, I could see you all the time.
I know. That would be so fun.
Yeah. Well, many of the women, and it was just like so amazing to feel how I felt in each of their presence and just realized like, wow, not only are these women expanders for me, but they're also regulators simultaneously.
Mhm.
And I feel like that duality of someone who can expand your mindset and call you forth into your greatness, but then also is so incredibly regulating to your nervous system. There's such nourishment in that and such beauty in that. And, I posted just some little snippets of my bachelorette, and it was just so the response from people were like, how do you have this group of friends, and where do you find people like this? And it's just fascinating. I was like, what is that? And I think
Mm.
it's just having like common ground of personal development. It's like relationships that are rooted in personal development, knowing that like you've got you and I've got me. And when we come together, we both got each other.
Mm.
That allows for a deeper, more authentic connection because there's like no projection in that. And that's what I've been really attuned to recently is like the deep nourishment of relationship when both people are highly emotionally responsible and really rooted in personal development.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%.
And in
100%.
business too.
Oh my goodness. I find it
Mm.
really challenging to deal with people who are not aware or conscious or
Mhm.
um, into working on themselves or willing to take responsibility. Like, I, because that's how I think. Like, I'm like, but what do you mean you're not like? What do you mean you're gonna project all your stuff onto me? Like in my head, I'm like, what do
Yeah.
you mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I forget, and
Yeah.
we just have to have compassion for where everyone's at on their
Yeah.
journey
Yeah.
and remember that, yeah, we are all on our own journey. Yeah.
So, share with us a little bit about how you vision for your business and vision for your life. And you've built this absolutely extraordinary life with your life partner Nick and your baby and the next one on the way and this amazing business. And my only assumption is those things don't come by accident. It's very intentional and curated and decided upon. So, do you have any vision processes or anything of that nature that allow you to really feel into like the what do I want, and then the process for what do I want, because sometimes even deciding that can be convoluted and confusing for people. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
I actually have a whole process that I'm going to give your listeners for
Oh,
free, right?
amazing. Oh, let's
Yeah, I'm going to give
go.
it to you free. I'll send you the link,
Okay, cool.
and you can put it in the show
Oh,
notes.
thank you.
This is
So
like, I
good.
just thought of this. I was like, this is my goal setting
Mm,
guide ebook. You can have it totally free. This is what I do.
so
Um,
good.
and and I do it with on my own, but with Nick as well. Like we've been married for over 10 years.
Holy
And
moly, babe.
I
It's
know.
been
What the
10
hell?
years.
10 years. It was in April this year. It was 10 years. I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
what? Like,
Didn't you guys do like a 10-year
yeah.
vow renewal? Yeah, something, right? What did you
Yeah,
do
we
again?
did a 10-year vow renewal with like our closest friends. We went to an island. We took our friends to an island. And I think there was probably like 25 people. And we renewed our vows and it was so beautiful
Oh
and
my
had a
gosh.
party.
How much did your vows change out of curiosity between when you did them 10 years ago and now?
Well, we spoke our vows on the day of our wedding just from our heart. We didn't write
Okay.
them down,
Oh,
and I
okay.
wish we kind of wrote
Yeah.
them down. But yeah, they did. They like just they did change, and
Mhm.
it's just deeper,
Yeah.
more in love, deeper. Like if you can even imagine that, it's like just
Mhm.
gets better and better and deeper and deeper and better and better. Um,
So
it's
good.
so beautiful, and I credit that to we're both committed to doing the work on ourselves
Yeah.
and on the relationship. And I have friends and clients and family members who are in relationships where one is willing to do the work
Yeah.
and the other isn't.
Yeah.
And that would be so challenging, like really, really challenging, because you have to ask yourself a question like, am I okay with this?
Mhm.
Can I accept this for the
Mhm.
rest of my life? And if the answer is
Mhm.
yes, then okay. But if the answer is
Mm.
no, then you've got to do something
Mm.
about that.
So
And
I remember, oh, go ahead.
no, you go, hun.
I remember this specific moment. You and Nick were in San Diego and we were at the Beacon's house with Mike Shervikoff. And I was single It was right when I broke up with my ex. And I remember like on the patio on the left, there was this like bed that like we would all just sit on. Okay. So you and Nick were there and we were all hanging out. And I just remember this moment is like burned into my brain. I just remember feeling the depth of love that you guys had for each other. And I remember deciding in that moment of, I get to find a love like that. And I'll never like it makes me like tear up because it was just so rich and beautiful. And the way that you guys attuned to each other and spoke to each other and loved each other, it was just so epic. And then I remember Nick sharing this analogy where, because the last relationship that I was in was exactly that. There wasn't a willingness to look inward and work on himself. And Nick was sharing about the elastic band. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where like a relationship is like two people back to back with an elastic band. And if one person is willing if one person is doing the work and they move forward, that elastic band is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And either that person needs to like hurry up or it's going to snap. And I was like, that was the epitome of my last relationship. And so when I saw you and Nick and just like the love and the care and the depth and the self-awareness, I'm like, that's what it gets to be like. So thank you for being that example, because Eric and I have that relationship now. And it was beautiful to see you and Nick model that. And for my awareness to go, that's possible.
Oh, that's so beautiful. He tells that elastic band story whenever anyone asks.
Yeah.
He gives that elastic band analogy, I should say, whenever anyone asks. And it's true, because that friction is just going to get so tight that eventually it will snap if something doesn't shift. And so thank you. Yes, our mutual friend Mike, who was also there that evening, he says the same thing. He says, you and Nick are my example of what I want. And he's like, I won't settle for anything else.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone listening to just know that like, there's no such thing as perfect, and our relationship is not quote unquote perfect. Like, I think what makes our relationship so beautiful is that we're just both so willing to do the work. Like, I will do anything. I will see any therapist. I will do any internal work. And we both are like that. And we both have that like willingness. And that's really beautiful. And I think coming back to your question about visioning for your business and visioning for your life, we often do this together, and we do it regularly. Like, we literally did it the other night. We were like, okay, where do we want to go? What needs to shift? Let's recalibrate. Let's reconnect. How do you want to, like, what are you loving in your life right now? What are you not loving? Like, and we just had this beautiful conversation, and we have an iPad, and we were just writing on the iPad, and we're like, okay, I need to shift. We need to change this. I need to move this. I want more of this. I want less of this. And so I think when you're in a partnership, it's beautiful to do that together. You can also do it on your own, but I think do it on your own individually, and then you come back together, because your ship is pointing in the same direction as your partner. And you have the beautiful ability, when you are in a beautiful partnership, to help each other reach the goals, each other's goals. And, we know where we're heading, and we constantly check in and go, okay, is this aligned? Is this not aligned? Is this helping us get to our vision? I also know, like, there's so many things that I want to do and create in my business right now. Like, I want to launch 5 new programs and a mastermind right now, but I'm also realistic. And I'm like, I know that I can do all of those things, and you don't have to do everything all today.
Yeah.
I can get to launching my mastermind, and I can get to touring and, doing all of those amazing, wonderful things that I want to do again. But there's also seasons, there's seasons, and being okay with, okay, I'm just going to put this goal or this vision just over here for a minute while I go and chase this one.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I'm going to circle back and keep checking in with that and keep moving that forward if I need to, like, keep moving that forward and keep staying connected. I've got a vision board that I can see right above my computer that I've constantly got up, that helps me stay in alignment. And I think another question is, like, you have to know what where you're going
For sure.
with your partner. You
For
have
sure.
to, or on your own, you have to know where you're going. And the reason why you have to know that is because then any invitation that comes your way, whether it's a business opportunity or a personal opportunity, if it doesn't align, it's a no thank you, because it's
Mhm.
only going to distract you and take you off your course on your vision to where you
Yeah.
want to go. So like I say no to things so often, like
Mhm.
business things that come my way. I say no so often. Personal things that come my way that
Yeah.
aren't aligned or that will distract me or take me away from where I want to go.
Yeah.
And when you know where you want to go, where your ship is pointing, it's
Mhm.
very easy to say a very loving no thank you or a yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I find with the way that my like quarters work, I'll generally have like three big things that I'm working on, or three big priorities. I'm like, okay, it's this, it's this, it's this. And then it just acts as a filter, right? So then when things come in, if it doesn't fit into those buckets, it's like, okay, no, thank you. I'm curious what your relationship to simplicity is. I know for myself, as just like a highly passionate entrepreneur who has every single time I have a shower, I have a new business idea. What's your relationship to simplicity, and how do you keep things simple in your business if you do?
Yes. Well, I think there's been a huge unintentional theme for me this year
Mhm.
with different
Unintentional thing.
things. And like I didn't,
Yeah.
you know how like you set a
Yeah.
theme for the year?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
simplify, or like, no, I didn't set simplify as my theme for this year, but the universe sent it to me.
That's
It seemed
great.
to be simplify and slow down, simplify and slow down.
Here's a
And I
broken
think,
ankle.
yeah, I'm going to break, yes, break your ankles. So you literally simplify and slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as it's so in my blood to go, to move, to
Yeah.
be a high achiever. You
Mm.
know, I'm a generator, I'm an Aries. Like it's so in my blood to run like that. And I feel like this babe that's come through, because it all happened when I got pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah, like all of these things were happening to me to just like simplify and slow down, simplify. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I'm listening. Like I would never lay down in the middle of the day for, like, you can't with a toddler, you cannot lay down for in like, they don't let you. They're like, mama, let's go do this. And so I've had to, like, I'm literally laying down with my leg up on a pillow with some red light therapy on there. Like, this is what I'm doing right now. And I feel like this babe and the universe is like, this is a lesson for you to really
Mm.
slow down, to simplify your life, because you're going to need that, for when this baby comes. They want more space in my life,
Yeah.
because you need more space in your
Mm.
life. With every child that comes
Mhm.
in, you need more
Mhm.
space. And
Yeah.
often, like with each child, your friendship circle gets smaller and smaller, and purely because of space
Yeah.
capacity, right?
Mhm.
Like before Bambi, I used to have so many amazing friendships. Like I had a huge group of friends, and then since having Bambi, like that's definitely
Yeah.
gotten tighter, and purely just from capacity.
For sure. For
And I
sure.
know it's going to happen again with the next babe. So it's, we have to listen to the lessons from the universe.
Mhm.
And so simplicity and simplifying, in my business,
Mm.
I am always looking for ways to simplify. Like I said before, if there is a
Yeah.
system, if there is something that I can delete, if there's something that I can leverage, if there's a step that can be removed, I'm always thinking like
Thinking of
that. And
that.
same in my personal life. Like,
Yeah.
how can I make my personal life flow even more easily? Like, for example, like here's just a little life hack. Like whenever I go to the chiro or the osteo, I will then book the next 6 months worth of appointments, so that I don't have to like think about it ever
Yeah.
again. I don't have to like
Mm.
take time out of my day in the
Mhm.
future to sit on the phone, to call them, to look at
Yes.
my calendar,
Yes.
to book it. Like
So good.
while I'm standing at the desk paying, I'm like, cool, when's my next appointment? Yep,
Yeah.
okay, that's booked in. I'll always keep
I
booking
love
in,
that.
just little
Yeah.
things like that to make my life, even simpler.
Wow.
Also, another thing, since breaking my ankle, almost 2 weeks ago now. Like Nick and I love cooking and we're so healthy. Nick's like, he's doing everything. Like, babe, I can't even like shower on my own. Like he has to help
Oh,
with everything. He's like
oh,
cooking, cleaning, working, taking care of Bambi, like then helping me.
oh,
I'm like, can
okay.
you go get me some clothes from upstairs? Like, and then he goes upstairs and he gets some clothes and comes, he's like, is this okay? And I'm like, no, like that doesn't even match. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll
Oh,
just wear
bless.
it, whatever.
Oh, bless. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Bless you. It doesn't matter. I'll just wear,
Mm,
whatever you've bought for me. But to simplify this time in our life, like
yeah.
we pre-ordered some amazing, there's a local company that does organic, vegan, gluten-free, amazing meal delivery. So I'm like, let's do that to help us in this
Yes.
season. So I
Yes.
think so many people, women especially, we get so bogged down in like the complexities of things. Like,
Mhm.
so I'm always looking for ways to like shortcut, biohack, simplify. How can I make my
Yes.
day even more flowy? Another thing that I do is the night before. So once my daughter is asleep, Nick and I will come downstairs and sometimes I'll have to wrap up a few work things. So I might just like, respond to some Slacks, do some emails, just like close out the day. Right.
Mhm.
And we will both at that time look at our calendars together for the next day. And so we'll go, okay, cool.
Oh, I
You've got
love
this, you've got this.
that.
And we look at our calendar
Oh,
together.
I love that.
Yeah. And so
Oh, so good.
okay. And like, especially like, okay, oh, and we only have one car. So he's like, oh, okay, I need the car then. I'm like, cool. Okay, I'll move that meeting. I'll do that. And so we always look at the next day to make sure that the next day is going to flow with ease and grace. And we also, at dinner time, as we're doing the dishes, we go, what are we eating tomorrow? Like, do we need to
Mhm.
soak some chickpeas? Do we need to pull
Mhm.
something like out of the shelf? Like, what do we need to do to set ourselves up? And we write down like on a little piece of paper what we're having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that as soon as we wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, cool. We're doing roast vegetables as well at lunch today. I will throw them in at breakfast time so I don't
Oh,
have to think about it. And
so
we
good.
share all of these
Mm.
hacks in our book that we wrote together, Time Magic, Reclaim Your Time, Reclaim Your Life. Because another thing that we were getting asked so much by family, friends, and clients is how do you guys do it all? Like, how do you have multiple businesses and only work 4 hours a day and be present parents? Like, how do you do it? And so we wrote this book, Time Magic, and
Oh,
it
I
has done
love.
so well. It won Best Business Book and Best Personal Development Book of the year last year in Australia.
No way. Are
Yeah.
you like super famous in Australia? Like you walk down the street, they're like, there she is. That's what I imagine anyway.
Well, this book did so well, honey.
That's
It did
amazing.
so well. I'll have to send you a copy.
Yes,
You will love
please do. Please do. I remember I did a Tony Robbins program like years ago called The Time of Your Life. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's like an
it. No.
old, like this program might be like 30 years old, but it was really interesting on just his principles of just, yeah, like getting basically everything done in your day in like 3 hours, like work wise. And like the way he structured it, I was like, and it worked so well for so long. I'm like, this is reminding me, I'm like, I get to get back into like really looking at my time. I mean, I don't have kids yet, so I have a little bit more flexibility as far as like my days are concerned. But I know in a couple of years, or not even a couple of years, probably sooner than that, it'll be a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, absolutely. So start thinking about those things now, babe.
Yeah.
Like start
Mhm.
thinking about like systematizing and, you want to give yourself a beautiful, juicy maternity leave, however long, but
Yeah.
like literally start
Mm.
thinking about these things now.
Mm. So good. So good. This has been so amazing, babe. Thank you so much for coming on and just sharing your wisdom and your energy and your love. I just love you.
Oh, I love you too. I love you too. We've been friends for so long and I'm always cheering you on. And I just love the work that you're doing. You're just incredible. And so it's so powerful. Like it really is. Your app is amazing. I recommend it to everyone. I'm like, you got to get this app. It's so good.
Thanks, babe. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Well, give us a little update on where we can find you, the best places, what you're up to.
Yes. Well, I am currently, really going for it with She Launch. I love my clients. I love working with them. So if you want to join She Launch, you can come to shelaunch.com and you can request a free strategy call to see if it's a right fit for you. So that's for female coaches and consultants and service providers that want to grow their online business to 6 and 7 figures. I'm on social media at Melissa Ambrosini and on my website, all of my books there. I've got 5 books, my podcast, The Melissa Ambrosini Show. And come and tell me actually on Instagram. I love connecting with new people, like what you got from this conversation. I'd love to hear.
Yes.
And right now for me, like we are deep in She Launch. We're also launching something else really soon, which is exciting. And then, I will take a little bit of time to enjoy my babe when they
Mm.
come. And yeah, I'm just so excited.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, we will put all the links for all of your socials. Melissa, your podcast is just amazing. You've interviewed so many incredible guests, and how long have you been doing your show for now?
I think I started in 2017, February. So we've got over 600 episodes. We've got over
Wow.
27 million downloads.
Holy.
Yeah, you've been on the show. You're amazing. Your episode is so good, is so powerful. So yeah, I love the podcast and I will keep doing it because I love it. It brings me so much joy.
It's my favorite thing. It's so fun. It's just so fun. It's so fun. Well, thank you so much. I love you.
I love you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Can't be contained.